Hi. Okay, so I'm here with Timothy Olsen, who is a elite athlete and ultra marathoner. And I met Tim and his wife Krista and their kids when they were here in Costa Rica because they live sometimes here and sometimes in the States. And our boys are friends and play together. And so got a bit of an opportunity to talk about what he was doing with this huge project with the Pacific Crest Trail and got to work together. As a client, but also, as friends. And so now that you're finished, Tim, this huge, I don't know, undertaking, I don't even know what to call it, event, I am really happy to have a chance to sit down and debrief with you and hear a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Um,
So first, yeah, thank you for having me on here, and thank you for all your work during the Pacific Crest Trail. Um, it was a huge project. I don't know if you want to call it project, journey, vision quest. It's this trail that starts in Mexico and at the border of Mexico and the United States by Campo, Mexico, and it travels north all the way through, the Mojave Desert, through the Sierra Mountains, and through the Cascade Mountains, and all the way to Canada. And it's 2,650 miles or 4,000 some kilometers, and it's a lot of it's technical mountain trail. So it's rocky, it's technical, and then there are certain spots where I would meet my crew to get me food and water and stuff like that. But otherwise, you're kind of out there by yourself, and you have to. I sleep out in the woods for sometimes when I can't get to my crew who had like an RV or a van that I'd sleep in sometimes. But yeah, this huge thing, and it's just you're taxing your mind and body to it's the biggest thing I've ever done at anything in life. And yeah, it was really important to have body workers and just the support from all around, and that included you from Costa Rica, which was super beneficial, and we can continue to talk about that.
okay. So just out of curiosity, when you say the run is technical, like what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I just like the footing is um, changes a lot,
Right.
I guess. And so some people have different forms of technical, where like in Costa Rica, it's jungle, and it's slippery and muddy, and can be really rainy and stuff. And you have to go through a lot of water crossings like in Costa Rica. And so through this terrain, you're going through the whole west coast of the United States, and that terrain goes from I'm running through sandy, desert like stuff where my shoes are like filling the sand and getting blisters, and you're jumping over rattlesnakes and stuff like that. So even like the animals can be the technical part too, because you're having to watch out for them. And I guess technical, I mean, you just have to be uber aware of your footing and your body, and it's the proprioception of that. And there'd be some times where, like I was saying, going to the desert, and then the Sierra Mountains, you're climbing up. I climbed to over 13,000 feet. And yeah, you're going over mountain passes. So you're going through these, pretty rocky terrain. It's not like, it's not mountain climbing where you don't have to use your hands a ton, but you have to use your hands to get over things. And there's some parts that are more technical. And then it was really interesting because so far I've seen parts of the Pacific Crest Trail. I spent over 10 years of my life in Oregon, and lived next to my house that I owned there. The dirt trail that was right connected to my house connected to the Pacific Crest Trail. So I always joked about how from my home in Oregon, I could run to Mexico or Canada, depending on what the day would bring. But it's this trail that really changes a lot. And the technical parts of it can be really challenging for people. Some people don't like, they like to run on a track, or just don't like, all the different challenges of one thing that was a little more surprising was the amount of down trees. I was expecting down trees because you're going through burn areas and stuff like that. But I had to go over thousands of down trees, and as you know too, I was dealing with some injuries and stuff, and so when my shin was at its like peak badness, I was going through a lot of down trees, and yeah, super challenging, and that's what I guess I mean by technical, and that like I never knew what I was going to be given on each day, because a lot of this terrain is like there's the trailheads, and some people, amazing people, do trail work and they clear some trees and they clean up the trail. I've done trail work, and it's a really positive thing for the trail, for the environment and stuff. But when the trail keeps going for 30 miles out into the wilderness, that distance out there minimizes the amount of people that are going out there and then the work on the trail. So there was big sections where you can't, there was no road access, trail access. So then the trail turned into just, the natural environment. So down trees, everything was just, it was a mess in some places, and there hasn't been any cleaning for many years. And so it's just decomposing, and the trail has turned from, being a straight trail to all of a sudden it's contorting all around these different trees. And, over years of people hiking the trail actually kind of, goes around the different trees. And I mean, these are massive trees where you're having like, 100-foot tree fall down, and it's it's 4 or 5 feet tall. So like I sometimes when I was getting over these trees, it was full on like get my whole body up and over it. And it was sometimes I'd be like standing on top of a tree connecting to another tree to get to another tree to actually get to the trail. And it's fun. Like you turn that into an obstacle course, and that these challenges can be fun.
That's so crazy. And I'm asking because, I mean, when I heard about the distance, first of all, I'm trying to comprehend running 4,000 kilometers, and I have a hard time getting my head around that. But then when you think that that's not like paved road, right? That's 4,000 kilometers of up and over and around and through, and things on fire around you. I mean, that's insane. And you have now the fastest known time, right, for the Pacific Crest Trail?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. That was the goal of it being I'm a sponsored athlete from Adidas. And so to do a big project like this, I had to kind of float it by them. Like normally I do racing. Like I race, I guess my profession is ultra running or whatever you want to call it, but it's I run mountains, and I run anything. Ultra means anything over a marathon. So marathon being 26 miles. I'm just doing anything more than that. So a 50-kilometer race, all up to 170-kilometer race or something like that. And I've done some other expedition type things, projects in like different mountains. Like in Bhutan, I did this 200 plus mile trek there a handful of years ago. But over the years, I've done like these 100-mile races, and you get a bunch of people all around. Like there's a beautiful race that runs around Mont Blanc, that runs through France, Switzerland, Italy. Awesome race. I've done well there. But this project was like something deeper. It's something that like I got into the trail running as a form of just as a form of meditation, and a form of just like to purify myself. I was not a very healthy person for some years after high school, and just really destroying my body. And I kind of found running as a way to clean my body out and purify it. And it just kind of grew from there. It turned into just kind of this daily thing to go for a run, and it's a kind of way to just be at peace in the mountains. And I was going through massage school at the time, so it worked. I fell in love with trail running and stuff as I was going through massage school. So I was learning all about all my muscles, and then I would go run and I'd memorize them. So I was like, I'd be out on the trail with flashcards of, my muscles and stuff, of like understanding what they're doing. And then I called myself the test dummy, where I would do 100-mile week of training, lots of vertical gain going up and down mountains, and that's hard on your body. And I was just getting into it. So again, that's really hard on your body. So to help my body adapt to that, massage and body work was amazing. And energy work is where I met some really cool teachers in energy work. And it opened up that when I went to massage school in 2009 is when my life changed dramatically. I met a holistic naturopath where I changed my whole diet. Me and my wife changed our diets, and she was allergic to things too. And yeah, it changed just a lot. I started meditating there and got into just exercising daily, and kind of made that, just the basis of my routine. And it led to lots of really cool things, and led to this, accumulation of many years of training and racing and stuff, to doing a project of this magnitude. It wasn't something I just, last, a week before, I'm like, I think I'll run the Pacific Crest Trail. And it's fun to just, feeling that calling and go for it. But this was planned for years. And I don't think I would have made it if I just did it on a whim. My body's been really prepared for this over many years of training and dealing with, not every race goes well, not every training goes well, and you learn how to adapt to your environment and what's going on, and make the best of the situation. And so it really, I feel like it's been a whole career of running, a whole lifetime of just understanding myself, to be able to go and connect with nature that deeply, and to synergistically work together to get to Canada. Yeah.
So I'm really glad that you mentioned your experiences with massage school and with energy medicine, because, obviously that's the stuff that a lot of my readers and peers are really interested in. Do you want to say anything else about your experiences, like with energy medicine, or how that helped prepare you?
Yeah, sure. Sorry that I'm not going to know all the different names and stuff, but I studied with a teacher there, and she studied under it's called Eden. Darn it, I'm blanking on it right now.
Like Eden
do you
Energy
know her
Medicine?
name? Eden. Yeah, Eden Energy Medicine.
Yeah.
So the teacher that I had was really good friends with her, and so just a regular day in massage school, we went there, and they asked us to bring some things into class, and we got to do some energy testing of holding this as and doing some muscle testing and stuff. So that was kind of my intro to energy medicine, and going through massage school, as a part of it. But I was doing full kind of integrative of a lot of different modalities, and that was just one tiny modality that we had maybe a couple days on. I think I did a 650-hour course there, but that was such a small part of it that I would love to learn more. My teacher, she was doing I think after I graduated, she was making a video of showing some of the techniques, and I think it was in the year 2011 or something, and especially when I was getting really into running 100-mile races and stuff. And I remember going to her house and making this video with a few other practitioners there, and then again, we were doing some muscle testing, and she was just doing tracing meridians, and it's something that I tapped into there, and I use a lot, and something that I'd like to study more of. It's just almost daily I do kind of I do some qigong kind of energy work, and then I do one of the things that I learned from her was these 3 taps. So I kind of tap and think, I don't know, points are all right along my collarbone, but I'll do these right here, some by my ribs, and then it's called the 3 thumbs. I think it's one of her protocols, and it's one that I can feel my body just get energized, and it's something I've become more and more aware of throughout my time of running, of just the energy in my body, the circuits, and how they're interconnected, and how just everything plays a role in it, in my life of sleep, of what I nutrients I put in my body, and then just even my thoughts, my actions, of just all that energetic stuff. Really, I can feel it all in a deep way. And so I need to work on the terminology or language, how to explain it, but I like to just explain how I feel, and just even through experience of when you were working on me. I'm sure a lot of people have different things, and I've got to sit with you in Costa Rica, where you touched me, and we're working on things, and you can do some muscle testing and things. But when I was thousands of miles away from you, that was a little bit different. But what we do is I would sit and meditate. We normally have talk prior if we could, and then I would meditate. And I don't know, for me, my experience with it I would sit and meditate, and I would like connect with you. I would think of you, and I'd think of you just like right next to me, and I would like verbally give you permission to like, you know, to go into my body and to just like, and then because we were distant, so we didn't know exactly what's going on. I would talk to you in my head. I don't know. I would, you know, like I would of course leave you like a little message, or we would talk where I'd say these things were bothering me, or you knew that, you know, I was going through a forest fire and there was my lungs were there's lots of toxins. Like I had to, you know, purge all that, get that, detoxify that. And when I would sit and I would kind of, in a way, I'd kind of feel what you were working on, but then I would also guide in every way I could of just being just like, you know, we were talking a lot about the pH in my mouth and my tongue because it was bothering my tongue. So I would just like all of a sudden that would pop into my mind, and it was just kind of a reminder to myself to give intention there, and then to send that intention to you of like, this is what I'm feeling. And I don't know exactly how that all works, but like I always felt super connected to you there was probably a couple times where I was like really tired and I didn't have as deep a connection where I could like feel the work on me, but then I would feel like later on, or always there'd be times where like, I don't know, I think like the working on my body would kind of bring some things up. So I'd all of a sudden like feel my body kind of like detoxifying something. I like, especially with running so much, I felt like my lymph was like moving a lot. And there'd be times where it felt clogged, or I felt, I don't know, there'd be times where I felt really tired after you worked on me or something, where I like, but then a little bit later, I'd clear that out, and I felt so much clearer and brighter, and just like, it felt really, some of the most meaningful times on the trail were when I got to listen to your messages, because then you would leave a message, and a lot of times I didn't share a lot was going on, or I'd forget what was going on, and then you'd leave a message, and I still have all those recordings because I love them, and I'm sure like they were always so spot on, and it's just like you could feel in my body the things that were going on and things I wouldn't even say, but you're just like, oh, you're, you know, like this was going on, or you're like mentally, you're feeling really mentally fatigued. You can't find your strength in that, and you would give me some like affirmations, or kind of, you know, say the things that you worked on. And so for me, I would kind of play that through in my mind again of like, I don't know, I'd feel into those spots and kind of just notice any difference or notice what's going on. And there was definitely a few times where you worked on me, and they were like my biggest running days, and not like even noticing, like there was a couple of days where I was running around 80 kilometers a day, 85 kilometers a day. And there was a handful of times, like one special night in particular when you worked on me, where I ran like 100 kilometers, and it was a, you know, really big day, and I was feeling really fatigued, but then I had like this extra power. One of the affirmations that you mentioned to me was infinite energy is available to you right now, and it's something where I would feel that like from the earth, like going into my roots, my feet, and like going into my body, and I would just like embody those things that I felt, and like, I don't know, it just made it really feel like a really deep connection to both the earth and to my like heart, because I can feel very connected to the earth, but sometimes I get out of my body, then I'm just feeling the earth. And I felt like when we worked together, it was kind of like really syncing the, you know, body, heart, mind into with the ground and with the earth. And yeah, so that's a little bit of
Oh,
what I was feeling.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because you know we haven't really had a chance to talk since you've
Yeah.
finished the run because of everything going on in your life, and
Yeah.
so this is the first time I've heard a lot of that, and this was a new experience for me because I've worked with athletes, I've worked with runners before, you know, preparing for a big race or helping with recovery or something like that afterward. But this is the first time I've worked with somebody like consistently through something like this, right? Where you're not exactly stopping. I mean, I know you said that you were stopping and meditating for some parts, but I mean, like during this huge expenditure of energy. And so it's really interesting to hear how that all felt for you and how that was working for you. I'm very grateful for the chance to get to do that with you. So yes, thank you.
Yeah, it was amazing. I, I was going to say this too, but it was really super positive for me in the fact that I kept a lot of things internal. Like my crew was going through all their things, and so I was having these injuries, mental fatigue, and just everything. And I wouldn't say anything to them because they were going through their own things, and I just like this was a lot of times like they were helping me 100%. They were doing a lot, but there'd be a lot of times where I just needed to what I had to do. I just had to keep putting one foot in front of the other and complaining to them. I learned that that doesn't help. I knew from like day two that like I just needed to like be more of a leader than I wanted to be in my life. And and especially in this, and just realizing like I just needed to step into the roles that I was being called to do, which is really challenging for me at the time. And but there was like you were the one person that I like that I knew I couldn't hide anything from. Like you would like always be so spot on. So you would like, you'd like tell me what was going on. I'm like, shit, man, she's got me, knows exactly what's going on. And but like there was there was I could feel the grace in that of just having someone else like you weren't showing me pity. Like there was one time I think you said, "Wow, you're really hurting," or something like that. But there was, and even when I'd have people come and help me, they could see that I was hurting. I didn't want any pity. I just wanted, like someone to be strong there for me. And it was really nice to have you just kind of like holding space for me in a way of like, yes, I can feel that you're going through these things. I'm going to correct them, but like you were just positive, gave me the affirmations, and in a way just kind of held space for me because I was holding so much space for the whole team and for like being on this trail that I wasn't doing a lot of stuff enough for myself. Like I really needed, this wasn't a single person thing. This was a team event. I like when I got to the finish, my statement is we did this. Like um this wasn't just me. I'm an athlete and I can push myself in a way and deal with discomfort and stuff. But this experience was way beyond me and way beyond any training or anything I've done, where it really felt guided in a way and felt really um, I was just like doing what I was supposed to be doing, and that I was in line with that, and then I had everyone there to help me. Um, it's a really cool thought that I've had a few times where I spent a lot of my life like going through massage school and stuff, and like trying to when I came to Costa Rica, there was this thought of like maybe I would we would build like a health institute or something there to kind of work with other practitioners. And there was this I don't know, this occurring thought in my mind of like, let's like keep meeting really special work, like I don't even know, star seeds, like people that are like you that can really help people. And I was thinking maybe someday I would have like this big or not even big, but just like this place for healing in Costa Rica or somewhere like that. And the thought that came through when I was running this of like I wasn't building this team or support for something in the future or whatnot. Like it was, I've made all these connections. I've met you. I've met other people that were supporting me through this, like the life event, right, that I was going through right then, and it felt really powerful to have such an incredible love and support from many people from all over the world, like you. But I had like a really good friend that I went to massage school with come in there and do some chiropractic work and do some adjustments on me that like helped immensely too. And so it's just like it was this realization that I wasn't building something for the future. It was like right now we were in it, and like I'm so blessed to have really incredible people in my life that have helped me to reach like to reach your dreams and to go after something like as the fastest known time on the Pacific Crest Trail. It was kind of this dream, and it or something that almost didn't seem possible, but then having the right crew and the right intention with it, it really became something super special, and it worked out. And that's where I'm grateful to share like what happened out there, because like it was a really special and like life-changing event for me and my family. And yeah.
So I'm curious because you just mentioned intention, and earlier you mentioned that when you started running, it was basically like a form of moving meditation. So what role
Yeah.
do you think like intention, meditation, your own awareness of energy, movement, and that sort of thing, what role does that have in your training and your ability to do these things physically?
Yeah. So I consider my like mindfulness meditation practice as like the foundation of the project of my life, of um of my running. Like um I start every morning with going into meditation and setting intention for the day, and specifically like for my run of like I meditate every morning. And when I meditate, I normally at some point I body scan through my body, where I'm like, I'm checking in on what's going on, how am I feeling today, because a lot of athletes kind of have like, they have their schedule of like, I'm gonna run this that day and that. And like it's funny because I have a coach, but like I don't listen to my coach. But like it's in a nice way. Like I don't, like, it's not dissing him. It's just like he 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 has some good thoughts and ideas, but then like I always come back to myself and feel myself. And so like when I wake up in the morning and I'm meditating, I'm noticing what's going on, and then I can set the intention of like, is this going to be a recovery run, or is this going to be a hard training run, or I don't. For me, a lot of times running is just prayer, where I just get to go off and like connect with myself, connect with nature, and and just kind of communicate and listen. And I communicate and more so listen. I feel like uh, I can talk and talk, and sometimes we just need to shut up and listen. And for me, meditation and being in nature is like that perfect combination to listen to those truths that come through. And that's when I'm running. It's like running, especially these last few years, but my whole career with it has been this way to really just to detoxify and to purge all that doesn't serve me, and to receive all the gifts from nature, from all the support, and then to give thanks. And that's why I run. And a lot of it times it turns into just saying thank you as I'm running, of thanking my body, of thanking nature, of thanking the different trees and animals that just sparkle. That like this world is very beautiful. And I feel like one of the a really great part of meditation is that awareness of like, that allows me to just drop in and just be aware of what's going on around me, and to be in awe of it. It's something like I try when I end my meditation. I come back, open my eyes, and I just look around and take a moment to just to be in awe of this moment, of this space, which a lot of times we can forget about, or always trying to, even on the trail, like when I was trying to get to the next mile, or to whatever next thing that would bring me more food or water or something like that. But like the meditation was always trying to come back into the moment, and like be here now. And I really got to work out that the last few days of doing the Pacific Crest Trail, where it's like you so want to be the finish, like everything hurts, and like it's your mind can really go to like wanting to get somewhere of like these desires. And like for me, it was a beautiful time to just let go of all that, and just I kept telling myself to be here now and to appreciate this moment. And there wasn't, even the last few days, I tried to never think that there was an end. I thought like I'm not trying to get to a finish, it's just going through. And it's like that's just how I live life, of like there isn't a finish. I don't get to this and all of a sudden life will be perfect. life is perfect right now, and I just need to be aware of that. And so that's why I bring the meditation practice into my running. And then like the running and stuff is just a small part of just like, the metaphor for life. And like, so I bring the meditation into my life, and how I run and stuff is how I live the rest of my life too. And just kind of bring it into one all, just the big ceremony of life, of just being in it, and to feel the experience fully. And sometimes that's uncomfortable, but I choose to be in those uncomfortable spots to see what growth is possible, and to fully experience this world, this life. Yeah.
So how do you think that this experience has changed you?
Yeah, I mean, every day I'm changing, and this was a really big change. This like, shook things up to me. It brought me to really confront a lot of things, of insecurities, of fears, of failures, of loss. And this journey was, it was nice to have the backing of like Adidas was there to help me and support this. And it's like, it's my job to run. I'm supposed to do races, but I convinced them that I'd go do this big adventure with my family. And so and that's kind of the beauty of what I get to do, is I just get to share my experience. And I think that can lead other people to like, I might want to, try running, or I just like, just follow your passions, right? Like this is just a passion that like, I know that like lights me up and is healthy for me, where it's like, I get to do some movement, I'm getting some deep breathing in, and where the meditation and running kind of fuse together with life. Like meditation isn't, I don't have a 10-minute practice at the beginning of my day and that's it. I meditate thousands of times a day, where it's just like I drop into that when I notice I get triggered by life things. I try to remember to come back to my breath and come back to that practice, because that it's the foundation of like what I work on. And I've noticed how much it's helped me in life, so I like to share that with people. And that's kind of what this project was like, getting to kind of share what I do to push myself in this way. And then this was the Pacific Crest Trail was kind of a deeper thing for the whole family as a whole, where these past few years, me and my wife and family, we've had the loss of a couple miscarriages. So we've lost a few babies, and it was really, really challenging, hard time to accept that and just to receive the grace and message that was, and not to fight it, and to feel broken from life and in life circumstances. And so this was, going and doing the Pacific Crest Trail was like, as a whole family, going out there. And what nature and trails has been for us is like this healing grounds of going out there and to work through frustrations and just emotions and whatever arises, and to know that it's all unfolding how it's supposed to be. And sometimes those challenges can seem really daunting and hard, and like, why are you given this? But I feel I was given these times in my life as opportunities to keep growing and expanding and changing. I'm like, that was kind of the question, have you changed? And like I feel through this process, like I was able to like, change a lot of perspectives in my mind, and let go of just stories and stuff in the mind that keep circulating, keep coming back. And kind of like the trail of like that, I'm not looking for a finish line, or I'm not looking for anything. It was kind of nice of getting to a point in there where I'm not trying to seek anything in particular, where I'm just trying to be in this and experience it. And I guess I seek in a way of, I went for a run and like to see what would happen in there. So like it's a big one, but but then like through the process, it really opens my heart and opens myself up to really receive what what I was going out there for. And I don't always know. It's kind of like, I kind of like that unknown, because it's kind of like I'm just an open vessel here to receive what it is. And so like I spent a lot of time just being out in nature, changing my perspectives of just like it's a beautiful one that a lesson that I've learned, or I keep relearning, but seeing people as trees. And I it's funny in life how humans, they can trigger you, they can, like, I don't know, we get so it's hard living in society sometimes, where people are people, and we're all unique people, and sometimes we judge people a lot, and we judge ourselves, and it can turn into this terrible spiral. And when I'm out there, I'm really able to just kind of let go of the different stories in my head that I've linked onto my whole life, and I can let go of those and just re-experience life for what it is right now. And going through those different processes, I feel like I was able to, like, I don't know, just kind of work on things, change things in myself, that like just notice more things in myself, and to love the parts that that are harder to love in myself, and like the parts that I want to hide more. It's like with running, it can bring out a lot of good things, like, oh, you're healthy, and you do good in races, and so all these positive things, and we forget about, like, always want to hide the shadow parts of it, of all the things that come with that. It's not like you don't just win a race and it was all beautiful the whole time. Like, you had to go and you had to train, and you had to work through some of those really dark moments, and the stories in your mind of telling you that you're not worthy, you're not good enough. And at least for me, that's the experience that I have, and I get these stories going on. And so out there, I think it was a really beautiful time for me to let go of certain stories that I've been going in my mind for a very long time. I have, as we all have, like, this life timeline, and it's easy for us to go back into it, and sometimes I've had a lot of negative thoughts and negative feelings in going into the past, and instead of thinking negative or that victim mentality, I've been able to, like, turn those into opportunities and to grow from them. And that's like trail running, doing the PCT was this huge growth thing for me. And I felt like kind of a mantra, something I was thinking about on the trail was like, if I can change myself, the world can change. If I can heal myself, the world can heal. If I can love myself, the world can feel that love. And that was kind of like what I would come back to that a lot throughout when I was really struggling. And so I think through that process, I was able to just kind of like just keep understanding myself in a deeper way, and then loving myself and loving the parts that I like haven't wanted to love in the past, and just be accepting of me as a whole, and then bring that same type of acceptance and love into my family, and like into the world. Like, it can be easy to so I have a brand new little daughter, and I love her so much. It can be so easy to love her, and then it can be so hard to love other people. And so, like I was saying a minute ago about the trees, and so that was like a deep thing. It was just seeing people as trees, of like, this tree was in like a shaded section and grew crooked, and then grew another way, and then this tree like went through an avalanche and like got smushed down, but somehow kept growing, but it's all crooked, and half of it's smushed, and there's trees with diseases growing on parts of them and dying, and like just seeing them all as beautiful and all part of this whole. And so it's like this, I was trying to I took it in two different ways where I kept seeing, people as trees, and then I was having issues with the trail. We were talking about technical before. I kept getting really mad at the trail. Like, there's this tree there, there's this rock here, and I was like, why is it always here? Why am I kicking this rock every, I don't, like, when I was really tired, I was kicking so many rocks and just having some low moments. And I realized in a deep moment when I was yelling at the trail that I needed to love the trail as I love trees and love people, just being accepting of it. Like, this trail is not out to get me. This trail did not put that rock to trip me over. Did not put the hundreds and hundreds of down trees just to ruin my day. Like, that was not the point of the
Trail's
trail.
just doing its best. It's just trying to get by.
Yeah. And so then I'd get those realizations and just love the trail and just be like, this is just here for, like, okay, I have to jump over some trees. Wow, I'm getting some upper body strength now. And like, perspective change, I think, was a deep lesson throughout this. Is a deep lesson in my life in general. But sometimes we can get so fixated on our own story and our own mind, and to know that there's other perspectives out there, other people are going through things, and that we should be more loving and compassionate to each other. Yeah.
That feels really inspiring, because I think one of the things I notice in this kind of work is that most people do seem to feel like on some deep intrinsic level they are broken, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the response to that tends to be one of two things. Either I compensate like mad to try and make sure that nobody sees how broken I am, or I keep kind of coming back to the places where I'm broken and like licking those wounds, right? And continuing to propagate that victimhood of this terrible thing that happened to me. And so to be able to go, okay, I'm just going to notice the places where I feel broken and allow them to change and allow them to be loved, and, let them come out and let them be okay. And maybe notice that there's spots where the tree has not grown the way it should, but that's okay. It's doing its best. I don't know. I think a lot of people maybe need to hear that, and that it's still possible to do really great things, even if you do feel like there's things that haven't been so great in your past.
Yeah. And it's like I was kind of saying with the trail, is just like, it's a really beautiful time for us to heal as a family. And we went through some the miscarriages over the past few years that you've got to help with, and like, got to connect with my wife on that. And it's been really hard, but like, going on this journey together, I don't know how many times I got to just sob on the trail of just like feeling the loss of my little babies, which I wish I was running with them. Like, I got to run with my other boys on the trail, and then I can hold that sadness of loss, but I can also feel the joy of like that. I have a lot of joy in life too, and it's easy to always think of all the bad things that happen in our life and just to fixate on those. And I've had those moments in my life where I've just like, I am the victim, everything is against me, and life is shitty. And if you keep like I'm learning more and more that my words are spells and magic, and trying to actually think and the language that comes out to have intention behind it. And because like, I'm casting spells all the time, and I don't need to tell myself I'm broken every day, or that I can't do this, or whatever other crappy story I want to keep feeding myself. I want to tell it positive things. And I want to like, say, Tim, I believe you can run the Pacific Crest Trail, abracadabra, bam. Like, and I, years before, like, I've had some deep meditations where I sat there and like knew that like I was going to go and do the Pacific Crest Trail. I didn't know how it happened, and there was moments of doubt. And when my leg was at a really bad time, I was still trying to run, and I had a leg that shouldn't have been being used at the time. And it was just a lot of trust. There's a lot of just like surrendering, like whatever I thought this project was, whatever I wanted it to be, and just surrender to what the life experience was. And that was hard in moments, but that's where a lot of good things happen too. And then I hopefully hopefully that's the goal, right? Is like I get to have some lessons and learn things from there, and I can bring that into my day-to-day life. And I'm a human just like everyone, so I keep messing up and have my challenges. But instead of telling myself that I'm awful all the time, I try to just stay positive and just stay grounded, and then just open to what's coming next.
And that's why the affirmations are so cool, right? It's like when I know when the one comes up in a session for a client, for myself, and it's right, like there's a feeling that comes along with it of rightness, of everything just setting in exactly where it should be. And I love that feeling. And
Yeah, me too.
it's
Yeah,
very empowering to go, yeah, yeah, and I can kind of feel everything aligning around that. And I like that.
yeah.
Okay, I know you've got other stuff that you have to do today, but I just wanted to ask one more question, which is just what's next for you? You know, what's in the plan?
Yeah. Well, as of right now, we have a month-old baby, and so my plan right now is just spending a lot of time with her and helping her mama work through just being a new mama again. And we have two boys, so trying to do school with them, and then getting my body back. As athletes, it's always really easy to just like get back to the next thing, and I'll just push through this, and I'm strong. I just did the Pacific Crest Trail. I'm unstoppable. What can I do next? And so I'm I'm learning, and I've made mistakes in the past, but learning how to integrate what all just happened. And so like I just did the hugest thing in my life. I don't even know what it did to my body. The week after was really challenging. I've never had my body hurt, spasm so much. It was. I look forward to getting back to Costa Rica and actually sitting down and chatting with you a lot more of just our experience, because I could talk for hours with you on this, and I look forward to sharing more and like hearing more of what you felt out there too, because like I could know you're in my body, and like I was a mess at certain times, and like I I would just chuckle to myself. I'm like, I wonder what she's thinking right now. Like this has got to be blowing her mind of like what is going on in my body. And because like your normal clients aren't trying to run 4,000 kilometers all the time. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and I look forward to keep talking about that. And then for more what's next, I plan to come to Costa Rica as soon as possible. I think we're going to come November-ish. Kind of we're waiting on Esmeralda's passport, but planning to come back there and just soaking this time in and making sure that I don't just pass this by as just like another race and like it's done, check that off, pat on the back, the ego's happy. It's like I want to keep working on what kind of arise throughout the trip, and keep kind of working on those things. I'm in the midst of writing a book and kind of sharing my experience out on the PCT, and then with that I kind of sharing my life and just different aspects of it, of the highs and lows that I went through, and getting to share that kind of my life story through the Pacific Crest Trail and the stories that unfolded out there. And so I'm working on that, and of course I'm a sponsored athlete for now, so continuing to support Adidas, and I'll probably do some other races and stuff. But I still love doing that. I like the projects. This was kind of a transformational spot from racing to doing projects and doing things that really light up my soul in a different way than going to a race. And yeah, and then just might be some surfing in Costa Rica, and what else was I? Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Or we put on Run Mindful retreats. So we put on these meditation/running retreats, and so with COVID, it's been really hard to put those on and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that through this time, I'm able to kind of work on some stuff for the retreats, and then that we're able to put on some retreats, hopefully for the first time putting one on in Costa Rica later this winter, and then eventually back here in Boulder, I'm putting another one. But I really love putting on the Run Mindful retreats, and so I think that is something I hope to keep growing with my wife, and just doing that to share this experience. It's it's easy, it's like I can go out and have all these experiences and they're great, but what I really enjoy about this world of social media I have a few minutes, so no worries.
Okay, I'm glad that you're back. So we had a moment of internet issues, not surprisingly in the jungle where it's storming, but in Colorado.
Not in Costa Rica, but
right. But
yeah.
The last thing that I heard you say was that the great thing about social media and how everybody's connected, if you wanted to finish that thought.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where I was going with the thought, but I do think like you have to find the positives in it, right? Like we could look at social media and just all there is a lot of issues with it, and but there can be good too, and you can spread a positive message, and that's what I try to do with the social media. And I also think it's really beautiful how we can connect with people all over the world and share our stories, because I think that's like a really important thing right now in this world, is to share our stories, to share our experience, and then to listen to others, and to help each other out. Like we can't help each other if we're not listening to what each other's needs are. And so that I guess that'll be my thought with the social media thing, that like there can be positive to it. And for me, when I was out there running the Pacific Crest Trail, like I wasn't on social media and stuff, but like my wife was posting things, and she would give me some comments from it, and it meant the world to me to have people supporting me and saying that you can do this. And when I was having a hard day, getting a message from a friend, or I had some friends from Costa Rica send me some music and stuff of like them playing a song, and like we are all connected in a very visceral, deep way. And I think it's just good for at least for me, I think for all of us to just be aware of that. And and social media is a way to see people in that sense.
I loved seeing the posts of you running while you were on the trail, and especially, of course, like the ones where the boys were out running with you for a while and stuff. It was nice. It felt like you guys were here. So
yeah. Well, we miss you. We miss Jora. Like my boys are so excited to get back and play with Jora. But out there is, I think some of my favorite times on the trail were when I got to spend time with my family. And that's like another little part about it, is some people like to go and do those things completely like self-supported and whatnot. And I chose to do the Pacific Crest Trail supported. And everyone has their opinions on that, but I really valued that because I was able to see my family, not every day, and but I got to see them, and I got to run with them on the trail. Like my boys and Krista would hike with me almost every day, and that was always like the highlight of my day, when I got to like, I was doing this crazy thing, and it was just nice to just like be with my family and not think that we were doing this, to slow down, to like just enjoy a mile together and appreciate the trail and nature. That was definitely the highlight.
can we just acknowledge that while Krista was doing that, she was like 7 months pregnant? Like,
yeah, insane. She was a complete rock star, and like it was super challenging. A little funny story. We were in the middle of completely nowhere. There was like no cell service. Like the roads to get to that, like no one was coming out to where we were. And occasionally I would have some body workers, and I had a massage therapist that worked on me a few days, and he was there, and he worked on Krista one day, and they did it outside, on a table, but she had like a white, cloth over her while he was massaging her. And there was an actual OB, like a a person who delivers babies stopped in the middle of nowhere to see if my wife needed help because she thought she was having a baby right there. Like the person stopped, saw my wife, 8 months pregnant, and like, oh my gosh, do you need help? And it was just like it was a beautiful part of just saying the universe was looking out for us, that we could be in the complete middle of nowhere. It was definitely a worry sometimes of mine of like, is my wife okay? And is my little baby okay? As like medical care wasn't easy to get to if anything would go on. And we just really had to trust that like this was the path that we were supposed to be on. And I was super grateful that Krista took this on, being so pregnant. And like there's definitely highs and lows, but like I think she had a really beautiful time and really enjoyed it. And it was there's going to be a little documentary film on it, so it's going to be really funny to look back on this and just see videos of my wife cranking on the RV. She was going up roads that she shouldn't be doing, and it was really fun to feel the experience. It was out of our comfort zone, and especially for my wife, but she did amazing.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
And then like chatting about it on the beach with you guys when you're here.
I think would be really awesome. I would love once it comes out to be in Costa Rica and do like, a showing of it, maybe on the beach or something. We can get like a little, like a white cloth. We could show it and we can talk about it. And like people can ask me the questions that like, why the heck would you do this? And like, there's just so many questions that can arise for this, especially for people that like aren't runners and like can't even fathom doing a 5K, let alone, 4,000K.
Well, because you mentioned Jora, when I told him that I was going to be talking with you and about your run and everything like that, he stopped and he went, could Tim run from their house to our house? And I went, do you mean in Costa Rica or do you mean like from Colorado? And he was like, in Costa Rica. And I'm like, oh yeah, like he does that kind of run all the time as just a daily thing. And he stopped and he went, from their place in Colorado? And I said, yeah, but it would take him a lot longer. You'd have to start now,
I gotta start. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get there by November.
Exactly. Okay. Well, I'll wrap this up and let you go. We are definitely looking forward to being able to see you guys again and talk more about this. But just thank you for sharing a story that might be really inspirational for people and also helping people to understand how the intention, the meditation, the energy work, the distance sessions, like how these things can play such a big part in something like this.
Yeah, well, thank you for all your help out there. I wouldn't have wanted to, and I don't think I could have done it without you. So I really appreciate your help, and in some of those really dark spots, knowing that you were just there, and like it felt really nice to have a friend that like was just like, I could just tell that you were there and that you were just sending me like just the utmost positive vibes and like healing vibes, and like it helped so much. So thank you.